What was the worst cut in your mind? What was the most questionable cut on the roster? Who's that guy that you're like, oh, why don't we have him back?
Dakota Shepley. Who's Dakota Shepley? Dakota Shepley is a young offensive lineman that the Niners waived and the Seahawks picked up. Meanwhile, the Niners kept Tom Compton, who no one wants. So they could have had both of them probably. They could have cut Compton, put him on the practice squad, kept Shepley. Instead, they kept Compton, who's like 30-something and not good. And Shepley is a guy who may have promise. It's so hard to find good, promising young offensive linemen in the NFL. Easy to find defensive linemen. The Niners have 11 of them.
Right.
Offensive linemen, the Niners can't draft them, can't develop them. They got kind of lucky with one guy and just let him go. And the Seahawks were like, oh, thank you. We will take him. You just let him go to your division rival. And now you made them better, because really the only team in this division with a worse offensive line than the Niners is Seattle. So you just help them out.
And center was their most questionable position of need. Like it really was brutal.
Yeah. So that was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
That's fair. I wonder about the cut of Sean Coleman. I mean, to me, it must be either the injury is worse than I would imagine, or the 49ers are just done with it. Not the cut, but the shift to IR. So instead of letting him make the 53-man roster and then doing that move like they did with Hurst, to me, that made perfect sense. Bury him as depth and bring him back as an option later in the season. Now he's tucked away for next year, and I get that we don't have many people signed for 2022.
He's
it's unbelievable. 4 years. Like now, instead of much like with the Rosen drama at the end of last year, where you had a legitimate shot to give him playtime and to actually evaluate what you have, I feel like that's what we could have done with Sean Coleman this year. To your point, the offensive line depth is atrocious. Sean Coleman obviously had promise. He was counted on to be our swing tackle before the gruesome injury. We traded a 6th-round pick to get him. You know, there was something there. And to just not make that extra move, and to your point, could have easily let Tom Compton go and then brought him back the next day, I think, without fear of losing him at this point. But perhaps the 49ers know something that we don't. To me, it would have made sense to have the depth there. I think that Dakota Shepley is an interesting younger talent. I will say that at the end of the roster, I'm pretty much okay with all of the moves that they made. I'm picking at them here. I think that with the 53-man, I was pretty shocked at how aggressive they went, and I was pretty pleased overall. In your opinion, though, who are the 2 worst players that are still on the roster? It's probably pretty obvious.
Okay. Tom Compton's one of them.
Yeah, it would seem that way.
Jake Brendel's the other.
Jake
the Niners' offensive line depth is just atrocious. Dante Johnson plays special teams. He's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's okay. Like the Niners' offensive line is the difference between the Niners' offensive line this year and last year when it was the worst is Alex Mack. That's it. I mean, Aaron Banks, nothing. Jalen Moore, we'll see. I mean, Justice School was okay. He's okay. I don't know about this offensive line. The starters, they're solid, and the backups are terrifying. Terrifying. Jake Brendel, Tom
the
Compton.
Banks pick makes you a little nervous. I mean, that to me, I was counting on that along with the addition of Mack to really be a turning point in the depth of this offensive line. And for him not to develop in the preseason, and that may just have been the unfortunate set of circumstances and how it played out. He may still have a fantastic career ahead of him, but it's certainly, you expect a 2nd-round pick to come in and contribute immediately, especially if you're investing in interior offensive line in the 2nd round. So, I agree that's a tough one.